Okay, what is up guys? Welcome to the video. This is going to be a recap of the Lake Martin 50 miler that we did this past weekend on March 20th of 2021. Really just recapping the race, my experience with the race, the event as a whole. We will also get into some questions from you guys later in the video, but yeah, let's just jump into it. Limitless, limitless. So the Lake Martin 100 was in Alexander City, Alabama. There were three options you could do: the 27 miler, the 50 miler, and the 100 miler. We did the 50 miler, obviously. Let's break down the course. I will try to do that the best I can. The course was a 25-mile loop. It was broken up into 4 segments. There were also 2 aid stations. The first segment was from the first aid station, which was also the start and finish, to the second aid station, Heaven Hill, which was an 8-mile segment. Then from Heaven Hill, you would go on a 5-mile trail back to Heaven Hill. Then on the third segment, you would go from Heaven Hill to a 6-mile segment back to the cabin aid station, aka the start and the finish. And then you would do the last and final segment, the 4th segment, at the cabin, 6-mile trail back to the cabin, and that would be a 25-mile loop. And if you were doing the 50 miler, obviously you do that twice. The 100 miler, you do that 4 times. They also had a little extra segment if you were doing the 27 miler, because the loop was only 25 miles, so they had a little 2-mile segment that the 27 miler people would do to complete the 27 miles. I like the idea of just 2 aid stations. It was really just simple, and they could really just pour all the things that they had into just those 2 aid stations, which they did. There were plenty of volunteers. There was plenty of goos, snacks, fruit, tailwinds, water, Coke, anything you needed. There was plenty of everything. The volunteers got you in and out of there. There was really no holdup or anything like that. So I think that was a very positive experience for me. And this is my first ultra marathon, and it's my second race in general. I just did my first marathon, which was my first race back in January of this year. So I don't really have that many events to compare this one to the other, or have really any high expectations of what to expect from an event or from the race directors or anything like that. But everything ran smoothly. I was very happy with the experience I had at the Lake Martin 100. But that pretty much covers the course and the event and all that. Now let's get into my experience with the race and me recapping my race experience. I didn't really know what to expect, except it was going to suck at some points. Like, it was going to be a grind. Like, it's not going to be running 50 miles. It's not going to be easy. Running 50 plus miles, running 27 miles, it's not going to be easy. But I just knew, like, this was supposed to be hard. It was supposed to challenge me and just don't stop. And we successfully did it, even though, like, there were points in the race where I definitely wanted to quit, because it was just a suck fest. It sucked. It was miserable at some points. And another reason I didn't quit, because I can't be making these videos saying, hey, I'm gonna do this, hey, I'm gonna do that, and then just not execute. Like, I like making these videos, one, because I love just being creative and trying to just be creative and make videos in different ways here and there. And also it helps keep me accountable of what I say I'm gonna do. Like, I have to do it. I'm putting it out there for whoever wants to watch it, whoever sees it, and I can't just say I'm gonna do something and just not show up and do it. During the race, I was telling myself, hey, dude, I don't know, you say you wanna do an ultra marathon, but I don't know if this is the life for you, man. This sucks. I may never do one of these again. And I met a guy during the last quarter mile of my race. He was doing the 100 miler. I was finishing up my 50, and he was asking me how I felt, and I was like, dude, this sucks. And he was like, yeah, you think that, but then after this, you'll be trying to push yourself and try to do more mileage and all that. You'll be back here trying to do the 100 next year or in a few years. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm never doing this again. But here I am, a few days later. It is Wednesday. Actually thinking of, dude, how far can I go? And I definitely would be more prepared the next time, learning from the mistakes I made during this race. But yeah, I think that is my overall experience with the race. Finished in 11 hours, 26 minutes. I'm indifferent about my time. Like, the goal was just to finish and not to quit. So I'm happy we successfully did that. Now, that's pretty much gonna wrap up the recap. Now let's get into some questions from you guys. Okay, so some mistakes I made. I think there were 3 big mistakes that I made during this race. One being, I was going too fast. I found a group of people early on in the race that I pretty much stuck with to the middle of the race. And the reason I stuck with them to the middle of the race was because at mile 25, they were done with the race. They were running 27 miles that day. Then I still had to do a whole nother loop. So I finished half of the race at 5 hours and 7 minutes, which I don't know if that's good or bad. And then later on in the race, I blew up, was miserable, and I definitely should have conserved energy for the second half of the race, which was really dumb on my part. I should have done a better job of being more conservative, but I did not. But we're learning from it. It is what it is. Mistake number 2 would be nutrition-wise. For the most part, I just wanted to do liquid calories, which I did that with Tailwind, because I've been having like really bad gut issues for, I don't know, I guess the past month now. And I really just wanted to not focus on goos or anything like that in my stomach, just liquid nutrition to help with my stomach. And that worked for the entire race, but I just did not give myself enough calories, because I ended up again blowing up during the later part of the race. I think I could have held that off maybe if I would have been consuming a little bit more calories. But again, something we can learn from. And then number 3 would be, whenever I got to the last segment of the last loop, I had 6 miles left. I sat down at an aid station, or with my mom. She was at her car and we had a chair, and I sat down for 10 minutes, and 10 minutes became 15, and then 15 became 20. And then I just kept on pushing it back 5 minutes after 5 minutes. And then, you know, after you've ran 44 miles and you sit down, it's hard to get back going again. Not just mentally, but physically. I mean, your body is ready to rest and repair, and your mobility is already gone. Or at least for me it was. And it was hard to get my legs back moving, especially to even try to run. I sat down that long at the end of the race because I had not really gave myself any time at any aid stations prior to this. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get off my feet for 10 minutes and then we're gonna finish the race, the last 6 miles. Then that 10 minutes became 20 minutes, and then I was stiff as a board, could not get running again. So I think sitting down was a big mistake, or sitting down too long. So I will definitely focus on those 3 mistakes, not making them again if I were to do this again.
I'm tired of waiting, lost while I'm sitting at home.
So the watch I used during this race was the Coros Pace 2. I'm a newbie runner. This is my first running watch. Whenever I first began running, I would just use an app on my phone, the Nike Run Club app, and it did the job. It told me my distance, my splits, my time, my elevation, my heart rate whenever I had a heart rate monitor strap. It told me everything I needed to know, but I knew I wanted to do an ultra marathon, and I knew I did not want to run with my phone in my hand for 12 hours. So I really started, you know, whenever you're gonna make an investment of a few $100s, you start doing a lot of research, YouTube video after YouTube video, comparing this watch to this watch to this watch. And I was really looking into Garmin watches because Garmin is a very reputable brand. But I came across a Coros review, and I think I bought this Coros watch the day after I watched that review. Me, as a consumer, being a newbie runner, knew I wanted to do an ultra marathon, there were two things I had in mind. One was price and two was battery life. This watch costs $200 and the battery life is insane for a $200 watch. Yes, you can buy watches with crazy battery life, but they're $500, $600 plus watches, and I'm a newbie runner. I'm not gonna invest $600 in a watch whenever I just got into running. This is my favorite investment I have made during this running hobby I have picked up, and I am very happy with it. Like, I did not have to worry about battery life the entire race. I didn't have to worry about, oh, do I need to plug my watch up or anything like that. It was awesome. And I remember looking down at my watch, driving home from the event. It was 8 o'clock at night, driving home from the event, and looking at my watch, and it still had 64% battery left. And I was like, dude, that is awesome. Mile 31 was absolutely terrible. Like, from 31 to 38, a complete suck fest, a lot of suffering. It was pretty low lows. It was miserable. But I mean, I knew going into this race, it was bound to happen to get into some really low lows. But I guess the cool thing about ultra marathons is you're out there for hours and hours and hours. You're going to get into a low, but you have time to like get out of it back into a high. You just have to wait it out and keep moving forward, and then you will eventually feel a little bit better and get out of that low. But yeah, from miles 31 to 38, definitely sucked. Definitely contemplated what the hell I was doing out there, why I would ever want to do this or want to do this again. But I am definitely proud we stuck through it and finished the race. Whenever you reach mile 40, there's some light at the end of the tunnel, and you just get it done. You're not going to quit at mile 40 whenever you're set out to do 50 miles. But yeah, that was the worst part of the race.
No limits, no ceiling, no ground, no pressure gonna hold me down.
Okay, so for the next challenge of this series, Limitless series, is going to be the complete opposite of ultra running. We're going to be doing a couple of time trials. We will begin this prep for 5K time trial and a 1 mile time trial. I'm going to take the rest of this week to recover and probably have a down week next week as well with some lower mileage. But then we're going to start a 10 to 12 week prep. I'm not sure on the exact weeks yet for it, but yeah, we're going to be prepping for a PR in the 5K and the 1 mile. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video, this recap of the Lake Martin 100. And subscribe if you haven't already to continue on with this series and to follow along on this journey that we're on. And I will see you in the next video.
No limits, no ceiling, no ground, no